It's been over 2 months since my last video on Le Mans Ultimate. In that video, I showed you races where I was pushed off circuit, dive bombed from all stratospheres, and saw intentional crashes. But in recent times, I've been told that things have drastically improved. So in this video, I'm diving back into LMU daily races with that one question in mind. Are the driving standards improved on Le Mans Ultimate? Let's dive in. So it's straight into race number 1 here, Bahrain International Circuit. I have not driven the international layout of this circuit at all, so this was all a bit of a discovery for me. Now I have not managed to set a lap time in qualifying, messing up both of my laps in this split one race, so we're going to be nice and cautious down to turn number 1 and see what unfolds here. Now we are, as I said, almost at the back of the grid, so there's not a lot of pressure behind, just seeing what unfolds in front, and everyone is very sensible here, just lifting a bit to give space to this BMW as we exit out of turn 3, and everyone is through there nice and safely. Coming up towards turn number 4, one car behind me on Trak, and we're not going to be scared to get involved here. We do want to race. I do plan to race all these as hard as possible. So we're going to go down the outside here of this BMW into turns 5 and 6. That does not pay off, however, and he is able to sneak through once more, and we come downhill down to turn number 8 here, and this is certainly a corner that can invite some drama, so we're going to play nice and cautious, and that red McLaren goes around the outside there at turn 8, and we do fall to the very back of the field here. Now down towards turns 9 and 10, really tricky corner without the really wide screens. You cannot see the apex of this turn 10, but again we are able to, all the field, get through here safely as we come down the back straight here towards turn number 11. Skipping ahead now to halfway through the race, and this is where the action heats up a little bit. Like I said, the whole field got through the opening lap really nicely. There's a bit of a bunching effect here, but so far I've not seen any big dramas out on circuit. Now we've got a slow BMW here on the exit of turn 3. We're going to go around the outside, and the Ferrari that was behind, they are sneaking up the inside. We are 3 wide as we head into turn 4, but space is given by all drivers, and we all get out of there. That Ferrari getting by both of us there, and I'm able to sneak in front of the 46 BMW into turns 5 and 6. Coming down the hill now, and we've got some other cars going side by side, and that Ferrari's going to get involved to make it 3 wide as well. Being careful here as we get a bit of an undercut from the Ferrari. I was expecting that, so didn't want to get down into that corner too deep. And we're going to go side by side with another BMW down towards turns 9 and 10. Look at this, nice space given by us here, not collecting that Ferrari in front as well. And so far I've been really impressed with the way all the drivers have been handling the side by side action. We're still side by side here down the back straight, trying to hold him a little bit more inside. He moves across a bit, there's a tiny touch there. Try and go around the outside at turn 11, and unfortunately that one does not pay off. But we are really in the mix here and really enjoying the driving, enjoying the battles. Still on that same lap at the end, I outbrake myself into the final corner, run very, very wide, and that allows the McLaren to run up the inside into the final corner. The BMW that we passed earlier in the lap is now on the attack once more. We're almost 3 wide once again. BMW tucking back in as we head down towards turn number 1 here on lap number 8. 3 wide, and the McLaren, he backs out of it. He's being sensible as well. We go through the first turn. Again, there's no contact, there's no one out braking themselves, and everyone's giving some nice space. Giving some space here on the exit of turn 2 through turn 3, and we are once again side by side with the BMW down the straight here towards turn number 4. McLaren, he's looking to make a move as well. The BMW moves to cover that, and I'm around the outside once more, running it wide, but with enough momentum around the outside here to sneak in front of this BMW once more. And again, really good driving. It's clean, it's close, but there's no one being too silly. Now we're going to come down the hill here, looking in the rear view mirror directly after that moment, and I run very, very wide here, and unfortunately the BMW runs a little wide, and that invites that McLaren to go into a gap which realistically was not going to happen. Probably the first time we've seen a bit of a moment, and that same lap up in front, another moment here, a car going for a gap that was not going to exist. Ferrari being spun, and then another BMW being taken out there, and that's me sneaking through the carnage here on that same lap with 5 minutes 50 seconds to go. Coming to the finish line, and we are going to pick up P13 in this one. A little bit of chaos to avoid, but overall it was a big improvement versus the last LMU races that I did, and I was certainly happy with what I was seeing out there on track. So we're going to move on from this one. We're going to pick up a bit of a safety rating boost here, which was really nice, and ultimately feel confident in moving on towards race number 2. And race number 2 was quite the different starting position for me, getting off pole position here in the split 2 race, a 2-minute 02.047, giving me the perfect starting position to go down and set the tone for this turn 1. Now, certainly not wanting to outbrake myself or brake too early, but we feel we get it right here as we come through the first turn and manage to hold on to that P1 through the kink here. Doesn't look too bad in the rear view mirror as well towards the rest of the field, but we are going to look at a bit of a moment here. Unfortunately, this Ferrari deciding he's trying to try and take the entire field in turn 1, careering through the middle there and driving off. As you can see just from how far back he comes, it's a very reckless move, and the unfortunate part about it was how he simply drove off afterwards, almost causing a really big collision behind. Very lucky to not take even more cars out in a bigger collision. Now moving on to lap number 2 though, and my race nearly comes undone here. The McLaren behind getting very close to the rear wing here, outbraking himself, just a mistake, nothing malicious there, and he's just so close to taking me out. You see on the slow-mo he does in fact touch the rear bumper there, picking up some damage himself, and it's a very close moment, almost ending my race out on the start of lap number 2. Wiping the brow, getting away with that one. Now up to turn number 4 on that same lap. The Ferrari behind, I run a little bit wide here. He's getting on the gas to try and capitalize on that. Unfortunately, going a bit wide and spinning out into the infield there, and that relinquishes his P2 position in this race. Now for me, the race was really quite simple after that, being out in front, and we're going to have a look at a bit of the action behind. Got 3 wide down into turn 4 here with some cars behind. Bit of a squeeze going on there, but again, overall, I was looking at really clean racing throughout the field. Those same drivers having a bit of a go here into turn number 11. Yes, a little bit of touching and bumping, but the contact physics of LMU certainly can handle that quite nicely. So overall, again, really good, sensible driving by everyone, and nice to get a win myself. I'll certainly take that one, and it doesn't come too often for me in my sim racing. So nice to pick up a win, but again, from a safety rating perspective, good overall from the whole field, up 20% on my SR, ready to tackle a third race. And race number 3 at the start of a new Le Mans Ultimate daily race this week was at Monza. So what could go wrong here as we head down towards turn number 1? I've qualified P4 in the split 2 race, and we immediately get a jump with the other second row car there to go by this P2 car, this 46 BMW, heading down towards turn number 1. So we got the outside line for the first chicane. The BMW that we passed fights back going down the inside of the Ferrari. I back out to avoid 3 wide through the second part of the chicane, and we exit the chicane directly alongside that P2 car once again. Now there was a moment behind, we will come back to that as we focus here as we come through Curva Grande up towards the second chicane, and that BMW has managed to pull into the slipstream as we come down towards the braking zone, showing the nose, poking the nose in for the second part of the chicane. We go around the outside but claim the apex here nicely for the second part of second chicane, and that allows us to go up to P3, and the slow exit from the 46 does allow the blue Mustang to sneak up into that P4, but we hold down P3 safely through turns number 1. Now behind, we're focusing on this BMW, 2 contacts with the car in front, and then trying to claim the racing line through second part of first chicane. Not the best way to do it, and causing a bit of a parking lot behind. His rejoin also quite messy going back across track, and he is going to manage to find the wall here on the exit of that corner, and a bit of self-infliction there. Not the best way to do it. Some typical Monza things things still happening here in Le Mans Ultimate. Now jumping ahead with 8 minutes to go, really awkward moment here. A lapped car coming out of the pits tangles with the now P2 Ferrari in front, and the buffer that I had on the 46 BMW behind now evaporates, and we're going to be under a bit of pressure here as I'm starting to lose the tyres a bit on this BMW. Probably driving the car a bit too hard, a bit too aggressively through the first part of these 20-minute race, and we're starting to lose a lot of front tyre grip, a lot of understeer now in this front engine BMW. Coming down towards Parabolica on this particular lap, and this is not a corner that I have been enjoying in either ACC or Le Mans Ultimate. Monza not being my favourite circuit, and this corner particularly always struggling to get it out and get maximised the pace out of it, and that allows on this particular lap the BMW to get a really good run on me as we come down the front straight here. Now the idea of these races was to try and work out what the standard of driving was like, but I was here to race as well. So we're going to try our best to go deep here into turn 1, but I am also very cautious that I do not want to be the one who is actually causing the problems that I have been trying to hide from. So we don't get the braking right there, a little bit too cautious, it allows the 46 BMW to go by. That's okay, he was definitely closing in on me, and you can see the struggles I'm having here, already losing a second to that BMW through this lap. And at the Parabolica once again, this is the end of that next lap. I once again not a great exit, and the fast approaching yellow Mustang here, he is also going to get a nice run on me down the front straight. Now we're going to defend this one on the inside, play the opposite tactics of previously, but again we're going to be cautious with the braking here. Do not want to miss a braking marker, and ultimately I do brake too early for this corner. The Mustang's able to sweep around the outside, claiming the racing line there. So nice aggressive move from that driver. We've played it safe, and ultimately again no contact is the best way for me to approach this race. Coming to the end of the race now in P5, that is where it's going to stay for us. Ultimately not finding that ultimate pace late in the race, although the front of the race is just in front of me, just not quite able to get into the mix here. A really good battle here by the leading cars into the final corner. That Ferrari trying really hard to go around the outside at Parabolica. Very tricky move, but gave it a good go here on the final lap, and that allows that 31 BMW at the front of the race to maintain and take the race win. I'll happily take a P5 after that one, and ultimately it was really good for the safety rating. And again, we've looked through the field and the replays, a lot of good driving from all the drivers in this race. So more positives even at a track like Monza. Overall, very good experience so far. And that left just one final challenge in race 4, GTE at Fuji. Now I have not driven GTE on this channel before, obviously no ABS in these cars, so a big lockup can certainly send you straight on a corner, and that could cause a lot of problems here. A lot of these drivers are going to need to be very careful, particularly on cold tyres in this first lap. But let's see how we go. We're out of P14, quite a way off the ultimate pace unfortunately, but we are going to do our best here, try and learn this car and learn this track as we go in a nice safe way. Now we almost went up the inside of those two cars to make it 3 wide, but we decide to be a bit more sensible, take the inside line through this first corner, leaving space on the outside, and we're able to get through here nice and cleanly, as well as all of those cars up in front. A little bit of a drama behind, not too bad though, as we come down to turn number 3, and you can hear those cold brakes and cold tyres, and the car is certainly a bit of a handful in this state. Now along this really long turn 4-5, and up ahead we're going to have a bit of a drama here. This Aston Martin firing down the inside at turn number 6, and unfortunately losing the rear end, and another Corvette involved in that one as well. So a little bit to navigate as we come through turn 6 ourselves, and a little bit of a run here on this Porsche as we come through the kink at 8 and 9 down towards turn number 10, and getting involved in the racing. Coming down the inside here, enough early on the brakes to not collect the Porsche in front, but ultimately giving too much space at turns 11 and losing out to that Porsche at turn 12. Into the final sector now, and this is a really tricky final sector here. Really long late apex corners here at turns 15 and 16, and this heavy front engine car, lots of understeer. Certainly still trying to work out the best way to drive this car around this track. This last corner particularly really tricky to get right.
right too early on the apex there, so there is a big gap in front, and that Porsche is actually going to pull off to serve a drive-through penalty now. So we're going to find our way up to P9 at the end of this first lap, a whole train of Porsches in front, and in fact I'm the leading front engine car in this race at this point. Realistically though, my chances of holding on to this top 10 position were seriously low. There are lots of quicker cars behind, and simply being able to navigate the chaos was going to be the only way I was going to hold on to a top 10. This Ferrari coming down the inside nicely at turn number 1. No issues with going long in the braking zone, so nice clean pass from that driver. That drops us back to that P10 position. Coming through turn 3 here, we're only 5 minutes into this race and I'm already starting to feel the pressure and feeling the cars, particularly the understeer aspect. Didn't really know how to undo that, and it's just a bit of driver technique that I was going to have to learn. This Porsche very quickly comes up behind here. He goes down the inside at turn number 6, but we're managing to hold on and stay side by side as we come out of the turn 7 and 8. There's a touch there at turn 7, not giving quite enough room for me through that part of racetrack, and he's going to try it down the outside here at turn 10. Now we're going to tuck in nicely, give enough space at the apex of 11, doing a better job of that than I did on lap 1, and we're able to get the traction and hold on to that position as we come into the final sector here. Already he's looking racy though. He's going to have a bit of a look up the inside here at turn 15. Unfortunately though, he loses the rear of the car, spins around there, and that opens up that gap behind once more with some Ferraris directly behind. 7.5 minutes to go and we're still able to hold on. A couple of cars have been taken out of this race so far, so we're actually up to position number 7, and maybe our chances of a top 10 are actually going to hold on here. This Ferrari, he's been catching back up from a bit of a spill earlier on, and he easily goes down the inside at turn 6. And once again, we are passed by the Corvette. This is the car that is recovering from lap 1 as well. So I definitely realised the cars behind were quicker and not getting too involved in trying to hold them up at all. And again, a safe race is what we're looking for here. And all those cars doing a good job at passing me cleanly and safely as well. Managing to consolidate that P9 position through the last part of the race, I was certainly able to reflect a little bit on the races I've done in Le Mans Ultimate. Since coming back from a few months ago, I've got to admit that the driving standards I feel have certainly improved, particularly in the races that I did, and it kind of feels like Le Mans Ultimate is back to where it was when I first started driving in the game. Fun racing, close racing, but clean, and that's certainly all you can hope for in a sim. Now I think there's definitely some reasons for this. We'll get into those in a second, but as you can see, my safety rating up into bronze 3, and we are almost at a silver driver rating as well. So all positives, and we'll certainly take those sorts of results.
So, have the driving standards on Le Mans Ultimate improved? The answer, from my perspective, is an absolute yes. I don't know what you guys are experiencing. Please let me know in the comments if you agree with this, but I was having a lot of fun out there with clean, close racing and all drivers giving the respect that each other deserves. But why has this improvement occurred? Well, I think ultimately it is the reporting system of LMU finally catching up with those players that cause trouble in these online races. Certainly with their small team, this reporting system was always going to take a fair while to work out, but it seems that it's doing its job in keeping those players out of the online races. Nice to be back on Le Mans Ultimate though. If you want to see a bit more Le Mans Ultimate action as I try go silver safety rating and race some prototypes, then please consider subscribing to the channel. But race hard, stay positive. We'll see you again soon in another video. Cheers.